Okay. All right. So, how do you guys feel about the new Apple Pay Later app that they're trying to launch? I think it's in the testing phase right now. It's not available to everyone right now. Have you guys heard of it? Have you heard?
Is it like a Klarna or an Afterpay or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
So basically, when you want to make a purchase up to $1,000, it's split up into 4 equal payments paid out over the course of 6 weeks.
Yeah, now then, yeah, same system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now and then every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been other things like this, like Walmart did like the Bill Me Later or something like that. But only this, they're saying that this does not have anything to do with credit. It's just basically your debit card that's in your Apple Wallet, and it's like easy to track like how much you owe and what what you got to pay and stuff like that. And if you don't, they say you have 6 weeks to pay it. And if you don't pay it, all of it, you've got to make a minimum payment on it and stuff like that. Would you guys give this a try? Do you think this is something you'd be interested in?
I think it's a no-brainer for Apple.
Yeah.
And they probably don't check their credit. They don't really need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like that 4 slice, I think, is pretty common. And if you're someone like Apple, you have extra leverage because if people don't pay, you can turn off their phone or something. So you have a lot of, and you could tack it on their normal bill.
Yeah.
Already accustomed to, and people will probably pay it if their phone might get throttled or turned off.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's all the numbers game
Mm-hmm.
for people that do it, knowing
Yeah.
that, and they'll probably backdate the interest if you don't make the payments.
Yeah. And can they still, like, well, I don't know, report you to like a credit bureau, even though it's not a credit per se, but can they still like turn you into collections of some sort? Like, can that still affect your credit?
I'm not sure. It might, but I don't know if they can do it like if they say
Yeah.
that it wasn't going to be impacted on your credit. So I'm not really sure. But
Yeah.
probably so.
Probably, yeah. That's what I would be worried about. Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's just. I don't think it'd be good for me because like I don't know. I just can't see myself saying like, oh, I have a payment coming up on the 6th for a Denny's meal that I ate 6 weeks ago, or something like that. Like, I don't know. That's just way too like thinking ahead and the shuffling and everything. I'm just easy. I like to just, if I can afford it, I just want to pay it all and then be done with it. I've never, and I'm also a guy. I only use my credit cards on huge purchases that I need to, or if I'm caught in a jam, like that's my only such like car maintenance and stuff like that. Like I don't even like using credit cards, so this would not be for me. But I don't know. It does sound interesting. I can see the appeal of it, though.
I'd probably try it just because credit card, I'd see it the same way.
Yeah.
Like it's good for them because people do suck with their own money, but
They do have a lot of that stuff, and I think it's a common strategy amongst places like that. I mean, like when I got my LASIK, it was the same thing. It's through Care Credit. It's the same thing. It was like no interest, like monthly payments. It wasn't like this, but like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pay it on time, there's no interest. Really not the worst idea.
Right.
There's not a lot of downside until you don't pay.
get anything out of it though, like outside of
Well, you get to be able to buy something having a fourth of the money.
Yeah. And I can see this.
I was like, but there's no rewards like there would be for credit cards, some credit cards, or
That I'm not sure.
I feel like this is
some
good.
like why not just get a credit card?
This will be a popular thing. I say like on Thursdays before everyone gets paid.
Yeah.
Usually
Friction, lack of friction would be like people already use Apple Pay and it's just go about your business. So it'll probably say like this much now or this much split, something of that nature.
Yeah, I can see this being a popular thing on a Thursday before everybody gets paid because everyone's people that live paycheck to paycheck, they're on their brokest point that Thursday before payday, assuming they get paid on Fridays, whatever. I can definitely see them. Oh man, I really want to order something online, order some pizza or something like that, and then pay for a quarter of it just to get by. Like I can definitely see that people benefiting from it that way.
I don't really think it'll change anything because I think the services are still there, and I mean, the stuff I buy and stuff, you see it all the time where it'll be like instead of paying full price, pay 4 payments of $42.50 instead.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I mean, I feel like the people that use that kind of stuff will, but like people that don't, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's cool that the option is there because you never know. Like, because you never know when you might be in a jam, and you know what I'm saying. Like, that might come in handy one day. I'm not going to say that I will never use it, but it just doesn't seem like something I would want to use.
You know, it's just an easy trap to fall into,
You're right.
and they know exactly what they're doing.
I was gonna say, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Easy money.
And easy.
And it's sad because it'll probably hurt the people that can afford it the least.
Yeah, you probably got a point there. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, but remember Layway? Layway was cool, but that was like where you couldn't have
You didn't get it to the end.
you had it. They basically kept it for you, so no one else could buy it, and then you just had to make payments on it, and then as soon as you make payment, as soon as it's paid off, then they let you have it.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good back in the day, like when we wanted to buy a gaming system, but they were like really hard to find, but you didn't have the money for it. So it'd be like, hey, can I put this on hold and I pay it? Like that was cool. I like that.
Is Layaway still around?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone does Layaway anymore.
You used to see it like in the back of stores, like the Layaway department and stuff. I don't really know how much it's still around.
Well, what was cool about Layaway is from what I remember, because I bought my first Xbox through Layaway, and they didn't check my credit. It was like, so basically you could, but it was the way of buying something in the future without having the money for it now.
Well, and it's zero risk for them. If you don't pay, they put it back on the shelf.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like the best way to do it back then, but I don't know. Anyways, this kind of reminds me of that, and like the Walmart Bill Me Later, where they did scan your credit for that. I do remember that, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's crazy where we're headed with Apple and technology and all that.
I do think that it will increase the number of people to take advantage of that, because I think for a lot of the average person, like I don't know the numbers who uses Apple Pay versus Klarma and all the systems like that, but that Apple's kind of known for making it as easy as possible to do something.
Yeah.
Like Apple Pay, I knew that at first, but once you've done, you don't want to go back. Like, you got to put my credit card number in again. You can just avoid that whole thing, and
Well,
it's
and
so
it made
easy.
those easier too. So it's like, I don't know. I found myself using Apple Pay less than I used to because every place has a card. Ding, you could just wave it.
The thing I like the most now, like a lot of restaurants you guys been, they have like the QR code on the receipt, so you can just like pay. It's even better to wait for anybody to.
Yeah, I had my last debit card was hacked through Apple Pay, so now I'm kind of afraid to use it. Only because, but it might not have been Apple Pay. It might have just been the website that I was, bought something off of. But I don't know. I'll probably end up, because it was so convenient. I'm probably going to end up using it again.
Hard to go back once you do it.
Right. All right. Does anybody have any last thoughts on it?
Not really.
All right. Well, there we have it.
Yeah, do you know you can do that with your phone too?